If you want to understand human design better, one of the best places to start is understanding how energy flows through your chart. Once you understand your type and your strategy, the most logical next step is to understand your authority. Who's in charge here? If you think of your 9 energy centers like a team, there actually is one that's in charge. This is where you go first when you are wanting to manage your energy or make decisions, okay? You go to the energy center that is the authority, the one that's in charge, before you check in with any of the other energy centers. And we call this the hierarchy of authority. So if you look at your chart, the very first center that you have defined in this hierarchy is going to be your authority. So for example, if you have the solar plexus defined, you are emotional authority. If it's undefined, you're not emotional, you're going to skip over, you're going to be sacral authority. If that's not defined, then you're not a generator or a manifesting generator, you're going to skip over and you're going to be splenic authority. And it just goes through all of the energy centers. Say, for example, you have your solar plexus, sacral, and spleen defined. You're going to be emotional authority. So the very first thing that you do before you make a decision is to check in with how you are and where you are emotionally. Because if you're on an emotional high, you're going to want to say yes to everything. Everything is so exciting and yes, yes, yes. And if you're on an emotional low, you're going to want to say no to everything. I feel like doo-doo and I don't want to do anything and no, no, no. And then a day or two later, maybe a week later, you're like, why did I say yes to that? That's not exciting anymore. Or why did I say no to that? That actually wasn't so bad. So you have to know with emotional authority where you are on your own emotional scale before you move over to the sacral. If you're in emotional clarity, then you check in with the sacral and you say, how does my gut feel about this? Does this light me up or does this deplete me? Does this make me feel excited or does this make me feel like crap? Once you have an answer from the sacral, then you can go check in with the spleen and say, okay, what do I intuitively know? What is my instinct telling me? What is my intuition telling me? The flow of energy continues until you get to the ajna. And I want to point out one really important point here. The root and the crown at the very top are not part of the hierarchy. And they are also the only 2 pressure centers in your human design body graph. So if you are feeling pressure to make a decision, if you are feeling stress, if you're feeling pressure to move things forward, pressure to know the right answer, pressure to do the right thing, then you are not in your authority. And it's time to go back to square one, okay? So if you're emotional authority, start there. If you're sacral authority, start there. If you're splenic authority, start there. If you're ego authority, start there. That's how the hierarchy of authority works.